Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan, and they are going in on Joe Scarborough. They are not playing around. They are talking about Joe Scarborough, mainly what Joe Scarborough had to say in regards to Biden before the debate, then what he had to say about him after the debate. And then this is something that they didn't touch on, but I'm going to show you the most recent clip of Joe Scarborough talking about Biden. And the flip-flopping is just, it's just incredible. And the fact that these mainstream talking heads don't even address the flip-flopping. They don't even say, wow, I thought one thing and now I think another thing. They don't even say that. They just act like whatever I said before is not even real. It's just, forget it. It's gone. It's gone. And also, I'm going to show you a very fun compilation of not just Joe Scarborough, but everyone from talking heads to Democrats just talking about how great Joe Biden is. Let's get into it, folks. Let's start with the Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan clip, of course.
They've all lied. You know, I think the media took just as big a hit as Joe Biden did that night. Yes. Because now, I mean, just a few weeks ago, there's that Joe Scarborough, that mental case on Morning Joe on MSNBC, and he was saying, let me tell you something, and if you don't believe it, F you. He says this on 6 in the morning. This is what he's telling his audience. F you. This is the best version of Joe Biden I've ever seen. You saw that clip, yes. Right? This is the best version. And then,
let's play it. Let's play it, because it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Wasn't he a Republican at one point in time?
And they say that Trump is the liar. It's like they are right now in the middle of telling the biggest lie that's ever been told in politics. This is bigger than FDR can walk. This is bigger than that.
Hampton real estate is not cheap. And you got to do some things maybe you don't want to do if you want to buy that sweet house and just drink your champagne by the lake. Just looking, or the bay rather, just looking over in the ocean going, I fucking made it, baby. Yeah. I'm here in the Hamptons.
And it's
I'm about to go to dinner with Rob Reiner.
Hey, I've always said, hey, I don't know if I'm better or worse than those people, but I've never had no one ever made an offer to buy me out. So I don't know how I would react.
I don't think it's a buyout or a sellout thing, man. That's a thing that people think. I think what happens is you get locked into a cult. And then I think also you get invited to things with important people. And that 100% will shape the way you talk about stuff. If you get invited to a dinner with Bill Gates and some very important people, when their name comes up, you're going to defend them.
Well, Barack Obama talked about how just being in the room with the donor class changes you. Just being in the room with them. And Chris Hayes wrote a book called The Twilight of the Elite about how that happens. And then he became the thing he wrote about. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know much about that.
Don't you think it's amazing how they fired the Arab reporters and the Muslim reporters at MSNBC because they were telling a little bit of the truth about what's happening, or they were confronting people over it. And
you have to have one narrative,
and that's it. And then, but none of the they're supposed to stand up for these. Why didn't Rachel Maddow say something? Why didn't Chris Hayes? None of them said anything. None of them, fake tough guy Lawrence O'Donnell. None of them said anything. They just keep your head down and keep taking it. You know, Rachel Maddow gets paid $100,000 a day. Like, to me, I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Good for her.
That's a good.
You buy a lot of man suits with that money. Do you have the Joe Scarborough video?
When she was being interviewed by Ben, what's his name? Ben, the guy who did Tropic Thunder. Ben, Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
They were wearing the exact same suit.
Of course. Of course. That's one way that, for whatever reason, hardcore lesbians, when they want to be taken seriously, they dress like a man. And they dress like a man in a business outfit.
Yeah.
Like Hannah Gadsby.
Oh, okay.
Look how she dresses. She puts a suit jacket on.
She's fantastic.
I'm serious. I'm here for the meeting. I'm here to explain things to you people.
Kirk,
look at Joe Scarborough. What does he say?
Is this the one you're looking for?
Yeah. Let me hear it.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle it.
It's 6 in the morning. It's 6 in the morning. F you.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. I've known him
Not a close second.
The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years.
And we're all fucking liars.
I wouldn't say it.
And these people say that Trump's a liar. Trump's a huge
Bro,
for sure, but
we're in a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. And so, can you imagine I don't know how many people watch that show, but
45 people.
Can you imagine still tuning in after that?
Yes, I would fucking wake and bake and let's go. Tell me about the world, Joe.
Well, I used to watch. Before I went to sleep, I used to be a night owl when I was just a comedian before my show. And so I would wait till 3 a.m. I'd be up late. I'm like, I can wait. I can watch Joe Scarborough before I go to bed, Morning Joe. So, and the joke I used to do is I watch it before I go to bed because I like to go to bed angry. And I don't know how anybody could watch that again after that. How could you and have any self-respect unless it's you're high and you're enjoying it.
You have to be high and enjoying it, and then it becomes high comedy. I mean, because it's so good. That was so good. That was so good. If you put that in a movie, people wouldn't buy it.
I know.
They would go, "Come on, no, that's not real. No one would do that. This is stupid. I've lost my disbelief."
F you. He's going to tell his own audience, F you, if you don't believe Joe Biden's not the man.
Yeah, if I was in a movie theater, my suspension of disbelief would go, "Oh, come on, this is."
That's why I was confused when I was looking. There's other videos I'm seeing that might have been a different time. And
No.
That was just a few weeks ago.
But this is saying right here, post a debate, and he's saying like they should replace.
After the debate, he changed his tune. That's part of the thing.
So that was right before the. That was like weeks before.
Okay.
No, that was weeks before the debate. He's saying that. I'm like, can you believe the balls on these
crazy
people?
balls? And so then after the debate, he does this 180, and there's all these videos that show him before and after. So the greatest 180 turnaround of all time.
So if you go to the one up there with the black and white Joe, and then
that's the one.
Show that. It's only 30 seconds. Watch this.
But I undersold him when I said he was cogent.
Cogent.
He's far beyond cogent.
Oh,
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. This is a battle for the future of American democracy. And now is a good time. In June, thank God, in June, and not October, in June, this is the last chance for Democrats to decide whether this man we've known and loved for a very long time is up to the task.
So that's just a matter of weeks in between those two Joes.
Yeah.
F you. And I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. Okay, now thank God we can replace them. But well, I have a theory about this, by the way.
Okay.
So they've never done presidential debates this early in the election season before, right? And so my theory is that his own team sabotaged him. They knew this, so they wanted to get Joe Biden through the primary because now all the delegates are beholden to Joe Biden, means they're beholden to the Democratic Party donor class, right?
Yes.
So there isn't no 50% Bernie Sanders delegates out there, right? They're not going to have any trouble getting them to all coalesce at the convention and pick a new person. So they wanted to get Joe Biden to go through, and then as soon as he got through the thing, they're like, oh, let's have a debate, and then they knew he would look like this, so then they can have enough time to get rid of him. That seems pretty plausible that's what's going to happen. And guess what's going to happen now? So they're going to have a person at the top of the ticket who nobody voted for because they're going to choose them at the convention and nobody voted for this person. And they're saying democracy's on the ballot. That's the irony.
Man, so true. And yeah, that's the thing. So even if it is, because a lot of times you're like, oh, people don't like, at least for me, I feel like people don't like Michelle Obama. I don't care what these polls that they're bringing up say. People as a whole don't like, women do. I would imagine there's a lot of white liberal women, definitely a lot of black liberal women. I feel like they would quite a bit. But men, I don't see black men really liking her all that much. And I don't see a lot of people liking her. But she would just get, for lack of a better term, grandfathered in. Same with Gavin Newsom, same with anybody. Isn't that something that they could just do that? They could just go around the entire country and be like, Joe Biden, yes? Joe Biden, yes? And I mean, the primaries were ridiculous. I mean, there were some where they just canceled it and just named Joe Biden the person. That's a real thing. Go look into it. But they just went around the entire country and just said, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden, they're just going to be like, this guy now. And the whole thing's going to be based on, you don't want Trump to win, right? Well, this is what we have to do for Trump not to win. Oh, man, so shady. This, I don't sit around and I haven't always thought that Democrats were just out to just subvert the entire democracy, to just take over and hold power forever. I didn't have this mindset of them like that. But over the past, not even 4 years, since Obama, really, since 2012, it seems like they've been hell-bent on this whole thing. And I always link it to the World Economic Forum because a lot of what they're doing falls in line with the World Economic Forum's Agenda 2030. But I don't know. The lengths they're going to just say, we don't care about democracy, are just crazy. It's crazy the lengths they're going to. This thing that I'm going to play for you right now is a fun little compilation. It starts with Joe Scarborough, and it just touches on everybody and what they had to say about Joe Biden. And believe me, all of these people, every single one of them, have changed their tune. Let's
now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows so long as she was 9.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
President Biden has a photographic memory. His understanding and mastery of a complicated geopolitical situation, remarkable.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I was sitting, 2 feet from him across the table, and he was, intense.
Have trouble walking sometimes? Yeah, so did FDR. He wanted GD war.
But he's totally focused. He's very sharp.
They say he's sharp in meetings and so on.
Very lucid, very well informed. Biden is stately, and he comes with gravitas. There hasn't been, as far as I know, a single claim that Biden made a mistake.
Ageism is an issue. Americans have a rich history of holding people's physical characteristics against them. Okay, you can ask African Americans.
He's older. That doesn't mean that he is unfit, and there's a lot of ageism there.
Now, this age attack, this obsession by the right, Joe Biden may not be able to speak for himself the way that he used to.
They want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, and that's him lying around.
I think people should be speaking up for Joe Biden.
Americans and reporters in the media are just judging him by a physical appearance, and it's horribly unfair. Age is an asset.
He showed exactly how with it he is.
The flip side of this coin is that he has a tremendous amount of wisdom and experience.
Have you heard any concerns from anyone who has met with President Biden about him seeming a little slower?
No.
More wild speculation from a bunch of people who have probably never been in a room with Joe Biden and certainly don't have medical degrees that I'm aware of.
You don't get paid for performance to be president. The job is not a job of endurance. I don't see Donald Trump out bike riding like Joe Biden.
It's the Hillary's email. All they have is that he's old.
He can clear a dementia bar, and that's probably a win.
The media are not fair, and they're getting less and less fair, and things are frightening. You have Wall Street Journal running a horribly sourced piece saying that Biden is unfit.
Dubious Wall Street Journal report about the president's acuity.
Shoddy story by the Wall Street Journal questioning Biden's mental fitness.
Wall Street Journal story had a lot of flaws, as you said. But Sinclair, they didn't do any original reporting. They didn't follow up. They didn't do any work.
The hero of today is Hirsch Goldberg Poland, and is still... He is not here with us, but he's still being held by Hamas.
But a huge part of the Mueller report talks about Russian disinformation tactics. And one of the themes this election cycle is that Joe Biden is too old to lead. And so everyone is seizing upon this. And it is a classic disinformation tactic. And I think the best thing that we can do is to prepare the American people for this false narrative.
Or the false narrative. That's what they did with the laptop, too. Remember that? Definitely I'm leaving that name up there because if you're on X, this is a great follow. They make great compilations, amazing work. I absolutely love these compilations. They just lay it out so perfectly. Oh my gosh. Even Joy Reid was saying how great Biden was. I just want to see if I can find her really quick. Joy Reid on Biden. I'm telling you, I started using X as a search engine because it shows the stuff that you really want to see. That you really, really want to see. What was she saying here? Oh, is this the one where she's saying it? There's a part where she calls him weak and feeble. Nah, I can't find it right now. Oh, man. Jeez. They have all changed their tune. They all have much different thought processes on this whole thing nowadays. But yeah, Joe Scarborough, a little more on him. This is how he flip-flopped. So the first thing that you heard from Joe and that you heard that I just played at the beginning of that clip, that's how he felt. It wasn't just weeks ago. It was in March. Let's be honest. And, that still was not that long ago. That was what he had to say in March. This is what he has to say now.
I think we have to ask the same questions of him that we have asked of Donald Trump since 2016, and that is, if he were CEO and he turned in a performance like that, would any corporation in America, any Fortune 500 corporation in America, keep him on as CEO? I think
the answer is no. The answer is no. Yo, amazing that Joe Scarborough was a Republican. Somebody said he was a congressman. Oh my God. It just gets more and more apparent how aligned mainstream media and the Democratic Party is. And yes, I know he may have been a Republican congressman, but he was one of those people that was willing to switch over. I'm just going to pull back here. Here's his most recent clip of him talking about Biden. So he went from Biden is sharp as a tack. It's the best version of him that we've ever seen. This is Super Saiyan Joe Biden, to would we put up with him if he was a CEO of a company, which arguably he is when he's running a country. And this is what Joe Scarborough has to say now.
During a meeting with Democratic governors on Wednesday, President Biden suggested he might start limiting events after 8 p.m. so he can get more sleep. One source tells NBC News the president was asked about his health, and he said that he was doing fine, adding, quote, "It's just my brain." The governors took that as a joke, as did Biden campaign chair Jen O'Malley Dillon. When she was asked about the remark, she said Biden was clearly making a joke, adding that he also said, all kidding aside. And in the Wisconsin interview that aired yesterday, President Biden acknowledged that he had a poor debate performance, but defended his candidacy.
I had a bad night. And the fact of the matter is that, I screwed up. I made a mistake. But I learned from my father, when you get knocked down, just get back up. Get back up. And, we're going to win this election. We're going to just beat Donald Trump like we did in 2020. We're going to beat him again. But we need all of you to get this done, all of you. Look, I came back I was in a situation where I was wired. I didn't have a good debate. That's 90 minutes on stage. Look at what I've done in 3.5 years.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So many Democrats on the phone nonstop since that debate. And there's panic. There's no doubt there's panic all around. I said 8 days ago that the president needed to consider getting out. Said that we needed to give it time, needed to see what was going to happen. And I think we're still there. I mean, it is July the 5th. This happened 8 days ago, and decision time is not upon us yet. And though it may be coming soon, I think we should first honor a man who was first on the ballot 54 years ago by giving him the time and the space to make his decision before we tell him that we've made ours. This week, there are going to be a lot more polls. There are going to be more interviews. There's going to be a NATO summit, and we're going to have more information to take in. Now, the test of our democracy and of our citizenship is to contemplate different scenarios that could happen if Joe Biden decides to get out of the race. But the first is to see where the man is who got all of the Democratic delegates in primary season this past year. We do actually have a democracy still in America. This is not a reality show. We cannot make up things as we go along. That's what the other side does. We must instead watch with open hearts and open minds. And we can't be Trumpian and yield all of our desires to our dear leader. Facts are coming in. Facts will keep coming in over the next week. And we stipulate right here and right now that Trump's Republicans are not serious about their politics. They're not serious about their party. They're not serious about this republic. And
yeah, no, I agree. It has to be. It's the Republicans that aren't serious. 100%. That just makes sense. It's not the people who have Joe Biden weekend at Bernie style that they're all saying that he's as sharp as a tack. Okay, it's not them. Okay? Let's take a look. This is one more time. Just one more time.
Tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows.
Yeah, it's the Republicans that aren't serious. Say it again, Joe.
She knew so long as she was denied.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. Joe Scarborough, man, he keeps flip-flopping, going back and forth, you know. Before it was Biden is the best ever. He's a demigod. And then the next thing you know, he's not even a good CEO of a company. And now all of a sudden, it's just a flip to the Republicans aren't serious. These Trump people, they're just not serious. And we got to give Joe Biden some time. What? I'm telling you, man, it's just every time this guy comes on camera, it's like he didn't say anything before. Every day. And I guess it's a nice mindset to have. Every day is like his first day. It's a great mindset to have, in fact. You know, you just want to start new, start fresh. We're all looking for a fresh start, right? Well, Joe Scarborough gets his every single day for the past 20 years. Every single day, he gets a fresh start. He's like, all right, you guys may not know who I am. He just starts again every single day. But they went in on him. They had to. People are going to keep going in on Joe Scarborough. But you know what? When you go to Joe Scarborough, and then you take in what Joe or what Jimmy was saying about Rachel Maddow making $100,000 a day, he's probably in that range. You know, and that range, I mean, it could be anything from $10,000 a day to maybe it's the same amount of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So it kind of makes sense. If you're all about money and you could care less about your integrity, then you're going to just take that money and just say things that are just straight up lies, and you're just going to continue to just keep going. That's why guys like Don Lemon are still obviously campaigning to become a part of some big news organization again. That's why Chris Cuomo's doing the same thing. They still operate like they're in the mainstream media because they want that mainstream media money again. You know, Chris Cuomo was actually, I was just watching a video of him. He was like, I would work with Big Pharma. He's like, don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. I would do business with them. You're a journalist. What are you talking about? It's so crazy with these people. He's supposed to be a journalist. And then he's also like, I'd work with Big Pharma. What do you mean you'd work with them? What are you talking about? They don't have a news company. Unless you count CNN. But other than that, they don't have their own news organization for you to work for. So what are you saying? You're saying you'll be a journalist, quote unquote, and receive money from them in exchange for what? You're going to say, like, what? But I say all that to just say, it makes sense why Joe Scarborough's acting like he never said anything every single day. Because that's the job, you know? And sadly, when they talk about how many people are watching this show, you would like it for it to be 45. 45 people, like Joe said, would be great. But in actuality, it's millions of people. There are millions of people who just sit down and it's the first thing they turn on. I don't know how TV works anymore, but I assume you can still flip channels. I swear I haven't done it in forever. I assume there's some people who just flip to him morning, 6 a.m., like Jimmy said, and they're just drinking their orange juice. They're eating their standard American diet, and they're just watching Joe. And they're just like, yeah, this is all fact. This gentleman's a journalist. He did some hard-nosed journalism at nighttime while I was sleeping, and he's bringing me the straight goods in the morning. God bless this man. That's exactly what they're thinking. Millions of people. It's very interesting, man. Very interesting to see how all this propaganda is laid out. And I don't know, and you answer this for me, because I can't tell. I can't tell if it's because I focus on it so much now, or have they really ramped it up? I think they've really ramped it up over the past like 4, 5, 6 years. I think it's ramped up tremendously. And in the past 2 years, it's become blatant. Just no apology, just blatant. Like, we're going to say this. It's completely not true. There's 10,000 people calling us out on X, people with documents and proof and everything. And we're going to ignore that. We're going to call them conspiracy theorists, and we're just going to keep saying the same thing. I think it's really ramped up. But I don't know, because I focus, I watch this stuff every single day. So I don't know, man. But anyways, Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan, always fun to see them tear into Joe Scarborough a little bit, because other than Chris Cuomo, who else deserves it as much as this guy? You know what I mean? Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.